I've got a Grand National sitting in my garage, so I'm with you guys. I understand it.
We testified again for Maryland historic plates. Here's the update and what you need to know for the next steps. And we need your help. A lot has happened with the Maryland historic plates, Senate bills and House bills. In fact, February 27th, members of the MCAA, the Maryland Collectible Auto Association, went to Annapolis and testified again, specifically House Bill 4 and House Bill 125. Now, we supported both House Bill 4 and House Bill 125. They're both essentially the same. They just reinstate historic tags with 25-year rolling and have grandfather clauses. History doesn't stop at 1999. Now, what was different about this testimony, remember we went a few weeks prior as well, this specific one, it was full of delegates and committee members asking questions. In fact, one of the questions they asked was, why 25 years? And we had a really good answer to that. Now, we foresee these bills, HB4 and HB125, being combined and passed by the committee following a vote on the House floor and moved to the Senate as Senate Bill SB 566 and SB 452. So House bills moving to the Senate via those Senate bills, SB 566 and SB 452. If passed, the change will be effective July 1, 2026. So July 1, 2026, if passed, it means that your vehicle can be 25 years or older, not stuck with 1999, and it's going to grandfather in folks like me and so many other car collectors. If you're a car enthusiast and part of this car community that we have, even if you don't live in the state of Maryland, this will impact you, my friend, because when one state does something, other states typically follow and point to that state as an example of having passed it. What we need is, we need to make sure that the committee is reminded to pass the combined bill, 25 years and older, with the grandfather clause. If it doesn't get put up to vote, we have no chance of this. But we gotta go a little bit farther. We gotta let these committee members know details in the description of how you can do that. Share your story. I've talked to so many people with generational cars. My grandfather bought this car. He passed away. He gave it to me. It was the last car he ever owned. It's a 2002 Silverado. By nature, that is a historic vehicle. It's 24 years old, my goodness, but by the new law, it can't be plated with historic plates. So there's a risk of these generational cars leaving families. I've spoke to so many different car clubs, Miatas, Mini, Land Rover, you name it. Even some of the guys modifying Caprice Classics and beyond. All of our voices need to be heard in the car community. You need to reach out to the committee, give your story, and let them know that you want to be heard and we gotta pass this and it has to go to a vote. So we're gonna give you some example emails that you can copy and paste the emails and just reach out. But I would urge you to put your own unique spin on it. What is your story? Be honest with ourselves. There's a pocket of people in the car community being very vocal, but there's a lot of us, a big diversification of people that are not being vocal. We need those voices heard. It just can't be all the same person yelling and screaming. And speak to people that may not be in your direct inner connection of the car community and make sure they are keenly aware as to what's happened and the progress we've made as a car community to reinstate historic plates to 25 years and older with a grandfather clause. We need to get it to committee to vote, and if everything goes as planned, it could be effective July 1, but it's not gonna happen if you only watch these videos and don't make your voice heard.
We're going to start on a series of interrelated bills. House Bill 4, Delegate Miller, Vehicle Laws, Historic Motor Vehicles Minimum Age. When you're ready, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Leckleitner from Pasadena, Maryland. I thank the committee. For hearing testimony regarding HB4, I request the committee vote passage of HB4 for the following reasons. Number one, legislation last year effectively designated 1999 as the end of automotive history with no rolling allowance, which is prevalent in most U.S. states having an historic registration. The legislature's actions last year stopped the clock with the 1999 drop-dead date. Maryland's historical dilemma has already been noticed by national publications, including the Wall Street Journal and 2 online auto issues. Number two, the state's designation of post-1999 vehicles as not historic demeans their value and places additional administrative and financial levies upon hobby members, often at the entry level. This designation hurts the future of the hobby. Some selected examples and photos of historic vehicles from the years 2000 and beyond are attached to my testimony, and I can answer some questions on that. This hobby generates significant revenue for the state of Maryland, from Ocean City to Friendsville. Car shows and meetings all generate local revenue and sales tax. Civic organizations host car shows, with resulting millions of dollars given yearly to charities. Owners of historic vehicles do their part by following the law and attending and displaying their occasionally driven and state-designated historic vehicles to these events. HB4 is endorsed by 3 nonprofit organizations in Maryland: SaveTheHobby.org, Maryland Collectible Auto Association, and Abate of Maryland, a motorcycle group. This bill is being monitored by at least 17 different Maryland Car Club groups on Facebook, totaling 90,000 members. I thank the committee for their time and urge passage of HB4.
You may continue.
Cool. All right. Excuse me. Thank you to the committee members for allowing me to testify today. My name is Ryan McGowan. I reside in District 18 in Montgomery County. I've owned several historic vehicles over the years in Maryland and enjoy restoring four-wheel drive classic trucks and SUVs. And I'm a member of several clubs which travel within and outside of the state to enjoy off-road trail riding. Changes made to the definition of a historic vehicle during the 2025 legislative session permanently fixed historic vehicles to only be those manufactured in years 1999 or older. This now current law is overly restrictive and overly burdensome and not in line with historic and classic vehicle definitions in other states. House Bill 4 would change the definition of historic vehicles to be on a 25-year rolling basis and will ensure that future classic and historic vehicles will continue to be enjoyed by enthusiasts and collectors. The 25-year basis is also in line with laws from neighboring states and is a sensible and balanced cutoff. Importantly, House Bill 4 also remedies the impact to owners of vehicles manufactured between 2000 and 2005 that have been forced to register under the new under standard terms due to changes made from the 2025 legislative session. This is a necessary provision and will provide them with appropriate relief from the increased fee and burdens of reinspection and emissions. Thank you again to the committee for holding this hearing, and thanks for your support of House Bill 4.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of E&T. Thank you for having us. My name is Max Vogt. I'm from Olney, Maryland, Montgomery County. I'm in strong support of HB4 as a Maryland resident and a car enthusiast who owns an import car. This issue is very personal to me and others close to me. For imported vehicles, they represent history and engineering from all around the world, and I think that's important to have something in Maryland like that. I asked the committee to give HB4 a favorable report supporting this bill, supports responsible owners like myself and many others that could not make it here today. My situation might be a gray area, but I appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you, and you can continue. You gentlemen may begin whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name is Kyle Blake. I'm a resident of Cumberland, Maryland, and I appear before you today as a National Director of the Antique Automobile Club of America to ask for your support of House Bill 4 and 125. To understand why this bill matters, it is important to understand who AACA is. We're the world's oldest and largest organization dedicated to automobile preservation and restoration. We currently have 45,000 members worldwide and include 2,000 members here in the state of Maryland, with 8 regions also in the state. For 91 years, we have been the standard bearers for this hobby, and since 1973, we have operated on the specific core standard a vehicle becomes historic when it turns 25. This 25-year rule is a global gold standard set by AACA. House Bills 4 and 125 simply ask Maryland to adopt that same standard. Right now, Maryland law cuts off historic vehicles at 1999. However, at our national meets last year, we displayed thousands of pristine restored vehicles from the year 2000 and later, with approximately 25 of those vehicles being from that year 2000 alone. These vehicles are restored to the way which they were delivered from the dealer to the original owner, no modifications, with all factory safety specifications of the time. Under current regulations, those cars are celebrated globally as historic, yet unrecognized here at home. But it isn't just about the dates on the calendar, it's also about the people. Antique car hobby is driven by nostalgia. People collect cars in which their childhood. By freezing the definition of historic at 1999, we're inevitably closing the door on new generations of enthusiasts. To keep this hobby alive and growing, we must welcome the vehicles of the new millennium and younger members who love them. House Bills 4 and 125 aligns with Maryland with industry standards and ensures our hobby has a future. On behalf of AACA and our 2,000 members in Maryland, I urge for a favorable report. Thank you for your time.
Shariah Yousefi and Eric Eisenstein. We'll start with Shariah. Yes, you may begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair Guyton and members of the committee. My name is Shariah Yousefi, and I respectfully submit this testimony in support of HB125. Last year, the Maryland General Assembly eliminated the longstanding rolling 20-year eligibility for historical vehicle registration and placed it within a fixed-year model cut off at 1999. That change may sound technical, but for many Marylanders, unfortunately, it carried real financial consequences. Under the previous system, vehicles became eligible as they aged, and it was predictable, it was consistent, and it was fair. Today, a model year 2000 vehicle will never qualify, and that's not because of its condition and not because of its mileage, but because of a date frozen in statute. As a result, owners who previously held historic tags that didn't meet the cutoff had to either re-register under the standard classifications. That meant significantly higher registration fees, which could range, as we know, from about $120 to maybe $190 or more, depending on the vehicle, along with additional safety and emission requirements that were previously waived. For some owners, that was manageable, but for many, many others, especially in a time when the cost of living is rising and continues to rise, it hasn't been manageable. I've chatted with folks and have heard from folks who have had to either reconsider keeping vehicles they've maintained for years because of the new compliance cost, and simply because those costs don't fit within their budgets. For others, they either had to sell their cherished vehicles altogether or find themselves in a position where their vehicles set to enter that historical period, unfortunately no longer qualified. In order to correct this course, HB125 fixes this by moving to a clear age-based standard of a rolling 25 years with request. This adjustment is reasonable and reflects reality as the vehicles age. With this change, common sense government is applied, Marylanders are allowed to keep their cherished vehicles, and the extra dollars that they would need to pay to register and inspect their vehicles stays in their pockets. Therefore, for these reasons, I respectfully request a favorable report, and I thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you so much. Mr. Eisenstein, are you there? Anderson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We had the ag tags, the farm use tags, and they got so abused that we had to come up with a way to tighten the program up because they were being abused. Today, on my way up from Princess Anne, I pulled up to the stoplight and there was a car with historic tags on it with the family riding in it. It's their everyday driver. And as the tag fees go up in the state of Maryland, and we're paying double what we were paying, there's more resentment with me and other people when they see the abuse of your tag. So my challenge to you all, and you don't have to come up with it today, you can email the sponsor or email the committee, but is there a way we can differentiate between, I've got a Grand National sitting in my garage, so I'm with you guys, I understand it, but we have to weed out the abusers in some way or fashion, and I'm asking you all to come up with the answer because I don't know it.
Very much so, Delegate. I get torqued off when I see those as well, when I'm following the law. Now, the law change effectively punishes the innocent for the actions of the guilty, and I'm with you on that and fully understand it. We provided at least 4 other ways of how that abuse could be addressed. The bill itself has a secondary effect in the fact that it's now 25 years instead of 20. And that daily abuser is going to run out because age and wear and tear always wins. So the extra 5 years built into HB4 and HB125 assists that. Other ways we have suggested would be you can have an historic tag if you already have a regular tag, or a specialty insurance for it, which would then, back to your question, Madam Chair, what's historic? Certain insurance companies insure our vehicles as historic. So the insurance company is deciding that car is historic, not the state, in a commercial transaction. And we would have, so one of the options could be when you go to MVA to register your vehicle, you got to show proof of insurance and it's an historic policy. These are all, future bills to tighten it. When the state has 81% higher vehicle registration fees than all the surrounding states, yeah, people will attempt to find a loophole.
Maybe I could
Just one way I thought of it was you couldn't the historic vehicle couldn't be the only vehicle registered in your name.
Correct.
At MVA. You must have a daily driver car registered in your family's name besides the historic car. But that was just my thing.
That's one, yeah, and that was presented too.
Yeah, I'll just be
Thank you so much. This is a lot of information. House Bill 125, vehicle laws, historic motor vehicles, minimum age. So welcome to the committee, Delegate, and you may begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Delegate Steve Johnson, here to present House Bill 125, vehicle laws, historic motor vehicles, minimum age, alongside Delegate Miller's House Bill 4. Now, the language is pretty much identical in our bills, except I had it in my bill that along with the extra 5 years, moving it to a rolling 25 years to help deter abuse of the historic tags, that an owner would have to go up and request their historic tags back. They were grandfathered, but they had to go and request it to help cut down on the abuse of using them as an everyday driver, because that ticks me off too. I've been building historic and street rods vehicles most of my life. And Vice Chair asked a question, what makes it historic? Well, I'm sure in the 70s, when people were driving 70s vehicles, they did not even think about those becoming historic. However, they have become very popular. People put a lot of money in those vehicles and they sell for a lot of money. And think about all of those vehicles that are kept out of our junkyards. Another issue is when vehicles become older, manufacturers only manufacture parts for so many years for those vehicles, and then they phase out. So we've created a whole industry with having historic tags. We've created a whole industry and created a lot of jobs creating aftermarket parts for these older vehicles. And that has become an industry in our state. Madam Vice Chair also asked, well, what really makes it historic? It's really a feeling, a bond you get with a vehicle. Somebody mentioned their first car. And that will carry on for generations and generations. And they will continue to invest money in these vehicles, keep them on the road and out of the junkyards, support our aftermarket part industry here in the state of Maryland, which I think is a good thing for the state. With that, I would ask for a favorable report on House Bill 125 and House Bill 4.